look at a match. So this is Brian David Marshall, Richard Hagon. We're here at Grand Prix Austin. And we're looking at the blurry image of a Bloodline Keeper. Oh, no.
And are these cards a keeper? On the left, you see the tousled hair of Mr. Paul Rietzl. And on the right, Michael Jacob.
The de-hatted Michael Jacob.
Really?
Yeah,
Has he lost it?
I don't think I've seen him with. I don't think I've seen him with a hat.
You want to recheck the pairings. If your pairings seem weird and you're at the same table against the same opponent, let's recheck those pairings. We'll get underway shortly.
Announcing a potential repairing. These guys.
Okay.
Seem like they're good.
So Paul quickly goes into phone mode.
He's got a Twitter. Might be repaired.
Wow. And then
There
he
you-
is.
Oh no! Michael's got the hat. I guess I saw him earlier today without the hat. So
That's.
I know because I was startled.
Wow, that's. Yeah.
One
Yeah,
of the
that
most.
seems
I
right.
find Michael to be one of the most thoughtful players about the game.
Mike Jacob.
Mike Jacob. Yeah.
Totally.
Just an unbelievable mind for the game. Really able to articulate what's going on, his decision-making process. Really, someone you should be paying attention to if you want to get better at Magic.
Yes.
Yes, he doesn't do a lot of educating. You know, in the sense that, you know, you've got Paolo every week, you've got Conley every week, you've got Pat Chaman every week. You don't really have that with Mike. So he's a hard nugget to get.
When he does it, when he does his videos, it's all really good material.
Oh yeah, sure.
When your match slip comes up, please verify that you and your opponent are listed on the match slip for your table.
And we're
So they can continue to wait to discover whether this is for real or not.
we see rival sleeves across the table.
Oh. See, I'd quite like to see a kind of team of, let's say, 8 Fireballers against 8 from Star City. And the players don't get any prize at all. But the loser has to give all their stock to the winner.
All their stuff.
All their stock, every card in the Star City Games vaults goes to Channel Fireball if they win,
I
or
see.
vice versa.
Sure.
Be sure to verify you and your
So
opponent
crate
are listed
loads
on your
of,
match slip.
lorry loads of cards.
Lorry loads, huh?
Lorry loads.
How much can
That's
lorry carry?
That's like truckloads to you
Yeah.
in French.
Placard.
Placard. Ugh. We were doing so well. We were talking English and everything briefly.
Is Lorry very strong?
Lorries are very strong. They're like trucks.
Oh, so you wouldn't want to date one.
Round 2 of the TCG player. Your parents are going up. Round 2 of the TCG player. Please find your parents.
And there's Paul Rietzl. Clock's still at 50. Still waiting for
Still
what
waiting.
they think is going to be their turn 1 play each.
How many players did we have last year at the first GP of the year?
Lance Bach, your
So that was
draft
at
is waiting for you.
Lambton
Lance
Jason
Bach, your
Ford.
draft is
Yeah.
waiting for you.
From Ben Stark, I believe. Ben Stark made the final of that, second at Atlanta, and then...
Not quite 1,000, right?
No, I don't think so.
We're going to do tardiness game losses at 3 minutes this round so that we can get going. So judges don't apply tardiness game losses this round only until 3 minutes into the round so we can get going. With that, thank you again for your patience and welcome to this round. You have 50 minutes. You may begin.
So we're away, and Paul Rietzl begins with the swamp that he'd been holding for a long time, getting ready to go. And on the right, Michael Jacob plays the island that he'd had waiting face down, ready to go. And we're on to turn 2.
Sequencing.
Is that what they call it? Abyssinian Priest, turn 2 from Rietzl. And we go back to Jacob. On the right, can see a Selhoff Cultist waiting there, but there's a turn 2 play. Is that the Apprentice?
Yeah, that's Stitcher's Apprentice.
Gives you the glorious opportunity to say the word homunculus, should you feel the urge. Rietzl playing 3 colours, and there is colour number 3. that's going to lead to village cannibals.
I was explaining to Nate Price last round, when you go mountains, plains like that on turn 3, it's called the Mikey P. You hit your natural, one of each basic land.
Okay. There is the Self-Help Cultist from Jacob.
Which will trigger the village cannibals if it dies. Looks like there's a saucy little number in Michael Jacobs' hand there. For ruining surprises, but
Oh, go on. Ruin the surprise.
just saying he might be packing a little something in his deck. Here. Could be a big deal.
Okay.
Disciple of Grizzlebrand. Grizzlebrand.
I'm interested in that card, whether it's dreadful or okay.
It's okay. It's fine. It's good. It's certainly got its place. Like, if you have any morbid triggers in your deck, if you have the ability to you can just get some free value off of gold callers and stuff like that. And it's fine. It's good. It's I think a fine 21st to 23rd card depending on your pool. It
works quite well with things like Pitchburn Devils.
Yeah. It's a sack outlet. It screws up your opponent's plan sometimes. If you have Trader's Blood, it's pretty nice.
So Rietzl is going to use his Priest to tap down the Homunculus.
And then what Michael Jacob does is when it's tapped, he makes a Homunculus, sacks it to the ability of the Stitcher's Apprentice, and mills himself for a card with the Self-Help Cultist.
And that is Claustrophobia that is headed for the graveyard.
Ideally he's looking to extend his hand by putting flashback cards into his graveyard. Or cards for Stitch Drake and Makeshift Mauler, or fuel for Harvest Pyre.
Village Cannibals go in.
Attacking into a 2/3. Puts the 2/3 in the way of the 2/2.
I was very distressed yesterday when I ran a 2/2 into a 1/3 Fiend Hunter when he was tapped out and I had 5 mana and he blocked.
Right. Kind of interesting. Is Paul gonna sack his Priest?
I guess, if he does that, then he gets the counter on the cannibals. It becomes 3/3. The Self-Help Cultist theoretically dies, but obviously Michael still has red and blue available.
Or is the Disciple, is the Grizzlebrand itself a human?
It's a human cleric.
But no, he actually does sack the Priest. Interesting. Wasn't really expecting that. So triggers once for the Priest going to the graveyard. Oh, and then he Harvest Pyres for 2. So
said that Michael had 2 mana open and he did something with it.
Trigger was on the stack.
So that gives Paul the chance to Disciple, sacrifice that. Looks like the plan.
It's a lot of fighting over a Self-Help Cultist and a
Village Cannibals.
Village Cannibals. The Village Cannibals takes 2 damage, but now it's a 4/4. And then they're going to trade. And then 2 more triggers.
Land and land, 2 swamps.
There's a lot of work.
Yeah. And the board is clear except for a relatively unexciting Stitcher's Apprentice. Checklist.
I'm going to
3.
say
Civilized
Kieran
Scholar.
Outlaw.
Oh, you win.
Red.
Last call for signs for the two-headed giant seal. Last call for signs for the two-headed giant seal.
Yeah, we watched Kieran Outlaw just demolish Oren Beasley last round. Chainbreaker Devils for Paul Rietzl.
Now,
Does he have
that is a card.
I don't believe. Does he have any spells in his graveyard at this point? I don't think so. I can't see it. It's above. It's off to the left side of his deck.
He had the priest and he had the disciple.
Yeah, all you get to see it get moved over through the miracles of.
Tell him to move it over.
Tell him to move it over. Brimstone Volley takes care of the Chainbreaker Devils.
Just as well. Yeah. Such a good card. I mean, as long as you can use
Charmbreaker,
it.
sorry.
Yeah, Charmbreaker. So the Crewing Outlaw currently holds sway. 3 cards for Rietzl.
Yeah.
Unburial Rites. My Charmbreaker Devils. Want to kill it again? I'll just bring it back.
If you wait a turn, it'll be great.
Yeah. Yes, there's some pretty savage possibilities there.
So now you kind of, I guess maybe that's why Paul was so willing to trade his creatures early on. He saw that he had this kind of potential to set up an engine where he can just return them all to play over a couple of turns.
It's so brutal. So there's Michael Jacob thinking, endless Unburial Rites.
I mean, fortunately, the Unburial Rites are just like, guys. Like, it's like, oh, it's a cannibal, it's a priest. It's not like it's,
Moment of
Bloodline
heroism,
Keeper.
Oh, sure, the guys. Yeah, the
Yeah.
guys aren't terribly exciting right now.
But even if he deals with the Charmbreaker Devils here, then he still has to deal with it again next turn.
Yeah. The plus side is, though, that will be flashback on the Unburial Rites.
Sure.
The Unburial Rites will be gone.
I'm going to assume that he has more than one spell in his deck.
Oh, for sure. But the Unburial Rites seems particularly obnoxious.
Yeah.
So there's Paul, waiting to see.
Asking the age-old question of man or gargoyle.
Wow.
You must have heard that before. That's a Louis Scott Vargas staple.
Really?
Yes.
I used to quite like him. So Mana Gargoyle, Stitcher's Apprentice, Brewing Outlaw, on the right for Michael Jacob, and big fat Charmbreaker Devils. Not that fat.
So these look like more traditional field decks to me.
Yes. So there we are. I'll have my Abyssinian Priest back. But despite the fact that my Charmbreaker Devils is currently gigantinormous at 8/4,
Yep.
I will not be attacking it into your, let's call it indestructible 4/4. That does not seem like it.
I will attack with my mana gargoyle though. 5 for 4.
Take it to the air. I like cards that give you the opportunity to take a risk, like Mana Gargoyle, the way that you can spend 1 and then suddenly find it destroyed.
Sure.
Is a really nice, just little bit of tension within the game.
Sure, absolutely. Backs it up with a Stitch Drake, and then Silent Departure's the tapper.
So back comes Unburial Rites. The way the graveyard stacked up, Rietzl was never going to run out of things to use on Unburial Rites, because he can just sacrifice the Disciple over and over
Sure.
if he wish. But for all that Rietzl has this engine going currently, you would definitely say that Michael Jacob is in pole position right now. Just over 10 minutes gone here.
Sure, he
in round
can
6.
flashback a solid departure next turn. Like, he's taking 7 in the air. Attack for 4 without.
Geist catches rig. Kill your Stitch Drake. Geist catches rig in sealed. You open 3. Can you play 3 or do you play 2?
I don't know. It depends. Depends.
What else is there? Of course.
You certainly could play 3.
Yeah. So I had a friend playing today who did this, and they played 2. And I felt that's very disciplined of you. I think I'd have just felt
2 seems more than fine there.
I think I'd have felt compelled to run all 3. So there you see poor Rietzl's hair. And now his side of the board.
Is that the Terror of Crew and Pass now? Yes.
Very good.
Yeah, we looked it up last round.
Still very good.
Oh, it's a very good card, too. So a 3/3, double striker, and then werewolves can only be blocked by 2 creatures.
That's always a nasty ability. Rietzl sitting there with 6 cards in hand on the left of screen. Jacob down to just 2.
That's additional to at a time, which we can save for tomorrow and or use packs.
Bonds of Faith on the Manor Gargoyle. Priest.
Second priest. And this game keeps swinging back and forth. That was a very good turn.
So that's going to flip down the
Terror will go back to being an outlaw.
Oh, he sacrificed the Manor Gargoyle to the Stitcher's Apprentice to make a
Give
homunculus
himself a 2/2.
to get something that can do something.
But sweep up permanence. So we will head to game 2 between Rietzl and Jacob. So the players go to sideboard. That really good turn for Rietzl of Bonds of Faith into double priest.
That's your stuff right there.
How much sideboarding did you do during your sealed deck rounds?
Well, I was very lucky. I had a lot of cards that could come in. Bonus flyers like Abbey Griffin I had that could come in. I had the option of Devil's Play out of the board because I just didn't feel I needed it with the blue-white. Once I was at the point of casting it meaningfully, I was pretty much dominant. I sideboarded in something every game, every round. And everyone I played against did too. There was always something to do. A couple of them changed colours after the first game. You know, not a complete,
Sure.
Just upped one of this. One guy upped his splash to try and combat. I had a lot of blue-white flyers, so wanted to try and do something a bit extra about that. One thing we certainly haven't seen on camera thus far, other than sounds like in the game that you watched in round 5, not really seen much today of people curving out and winning in tempo fashion, particularly. And you know, some sealed formats you can do that. You can build the aggressive deck. Certainly, say Zendikar.
No. I mean, I think in sealed, this is the most aggressive format I've seen. Like, this is the most curvy format. This is the format where you can actually play 1 drops, 2 drops, 3 drops, and ride them to victory. You know, Nate and I were talking about this. The idea that the tension of the werewolves means that the control decks don't get to sit back as much on their removal because the removal is so much more situational.
Sure.
So I don't know. Like, I mean, this match certainly we're not seeing it. Right? These are two look like a little more classic, bomby, sealed decks.
Get to 5 and 6, and then here's my.
But I think for the most part, this is a very curve-oriented format.
Okay. Now, this may be a stupid question, but that's never really stopped me before. Is that the same as a fast format, or is that the same as a tempo format, or are those all 3 different things? I've asked there.
I mean, every format's a tempo format. Like, you know, in the sense that you know. I mean, this is a very fast format. It goes, I mean, the rounds, you can see by the amount of, you know, opportunities we have to talk to people in between rounds after each match, that, you know, I mean, most people are done playing 20, 25 minutes in. It's pretty straightforward.
Oh, really? Okay.
You know, it's very aggressive, right? It's very much like, you know, I'm going to attack and I'm going to try to have answers, and you know, I'm going to try to take the tempo. So yeah, I think they're all sort of the same thing. And, you know, maybe you know, depending on where you're looking at them from, slightly different. But you know, that's I think splitting hairs. I mean, EDT can tell us.
What I love about those Open Series sleeves is that because you've got the silhouette, you can just put in whatever player of the year you want there.
Players look at their opening hands. Michael Jacob chooses to be on the draw.
Plains and Mountain from Paul. A couple of islands from Jacob.
It's got to be because Mikey P's in the room.
It's very fast format. All 1s, 2s, and 3s.
No, it's just got to be that Mikey P's in the room.
There it is.
Turn 3, he draws the swamp, so he can round out. What's his flip card? His double face card is just screeching back.
Okay. Chance to make that a 5-5 at some stage. Think twice from Jacob. Now, is that because he doesn't need to play anything other than islands, or because that he's digging with Think Twice and hasn't found anything?
Yeah, I don't know what his flip cards are. His double-faced cards.
2 Feather Giant players, once again, those sign up for tonight's sealed events.
Elder Catherine,
Your
no 4th land
assignments
from
for
Rietzl.
registration and build are now up.
So presumably this will be
They're located to
flashback
the
Think
far
Twice.
side of
There
the
it
card
is.
assignment. 2-Headed Giant table assignments for construction are now up.
Selhoff Occultist. Another island.
Drawn a lot of
And
islands.
another island. Oof. Oh, wait, the Occultist, which by no means disastrous, but got a Brimstone Volley, Jacob.
We're just getting an attack step here from. He only attacks for 2.
Disciple. There's 4th land. Vampire Interloper.
It's such a hard-working little card.
Vampire Interloper?
Yeah.
All that blocking it doesn't do.
Yeah. Forces you to play correctly.
Yes. For 2 on 5 for 2 blocking? Don't do that. Yeah, that 4th land for Rietzl is pretty interesting because with it being the 2nd swamp, he can choose to bring the Screeching back down to earth and make it very big, but Jacob's going to buy himself some time with Grasp of Phantoms. And say, why don't you just put that back on top? Essentially, you skip your draw stamp this turn, and you skip your turn by having to recast it.
Time ebb. I always love those cards.
You're a griefer.
One of my favorite cards of all time is Plow Under.
Oh, that's perfectly fine. From Trinity Green.
Yes.
Back in the day. Ben Ronaldson and for friends. That was a very good deck. So Interloper and Disciple go in.
So if Jacob blocks, Paul can sacrifice the Elder Cathar to
The Disciple.
put
The
two
Disciple
counters
will
on
be
it.
3/3. Yep.
Michael will get to mill 2 cards, but he chooses not to.
And now
Screeching
comes
back.
Screeching back in a different position on your screen, but still screeching back. Cell of Occultist alone for Jacob. He has now drawn a different colour. It's a mountain. How much of his hand does that turn on? Quite a lot, one would imagine. There's Jacob. Any idea what he's thinking? Nope. Paul Rietzl hasn't either. And that's one of Jacob's great strengths.
He is, yeah.
So good at the table.
Devil's play on the flyer.
Because he doesn't want to deal with a 5/5. Rietzl's going to sacrifice it in response to the Disciple by the looks of things. Gain himself a couple of life. So untaps with his 2/1 flyer, the only flyer on the board right now. Elder Cathar, Disciple of Wisdom.
Paul Rietzl, you guys may remember, won Territory Amsterdam.
I do recall that actually, yeah.
When somebody's had been playing Magic for years and years before he won his first Pro Tour. It was a very emotional, exciting moment for him. One of the great tournament reports of all time that he wrote about it. Michael Jacob also has a little bit of winning in his blood. He's been on 2 U.S. national teams.
Team World Champion.
And is a Team World Champion. Yeah, in Memphis.
Alongside
Paul Cheon.
and Mr. Sam Black.
Yep. Sort of a coming out party for Sam Black. It was really like his launch onto the national stage, and someone who's to that point winning like car tournaments at Worlds.
Cards and gold.
Yeah. Jacobs really just scuffled for his third color all game. But he scuffled for a second color for most of the game.
Sure. Village Cannibals now.
Standard 8 is meeting over with their judge, waving by the artist. Standard 8 is ready to go. Meet your judge over by the
You
artist.
can see his hand just full of guys. He's playing Lost and Mist.
Disciple, Elder, Interloper, Priest, Cannibals. Whack, 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 whack.
Lost and Mist countering the Village Cannibals. Bouncing believe bouncing the Elder Cafe, which she sacrificed.
In response.
Hero's Manor Gargoyle. She was there. I'm not sure. Oh, I guess the spell that was countered was the checklist. Oh no, it was the village counter. So, take what you need.
So, after all that, Rietzl attacks. And Jacob continues to struggle away with his many islands and a single mountain.
Let me see. They've actually been sitting on Olivia Valdarin for actually pretty much both games here.
Can't imagine she enjoys that very much.
There's a Stitch Drake.
Priest can deal with that. Although he's at 5, Jacob's coming back into this.
Yeah?
There's the next checklist card, which is going to reveal itself to be...
Tormented Pariah. Well, then now you get into that stage where, you know, any attack, anything you block, anything that's like a chump block could just be a lethal Brimstone Volley in disguise, right? Like,
Yes.
that's a 3/4 Priest right now.
But arguably, he just uses the ability simply to tap
sure.
down the Stitch Drake and then attack with the Interloper. When it happens so infrequently, it's very nice to get things right occasionally. Flip.
Flips over to Tormented Pariah, which now can be tapped by the Priest, if need be.
Yeah, no longer here. Again, very nice flavour. We're only a few days away from Dark Ascension previews on MagicTheGathering.com. And
Jar of Eyeballs gets previewed on Monday.
yeah, so that's Mark Rosewater's card?
I believe
he's
so.
Going to preview something
Yeah.
like that? Yep. That's not a code, is it? I mean, it's an actual card.
It's actually called Jar of Eyeballs.
Wow. Some creepy lab technician looks
Sure.
sleeps with under his pillow.
Sure. All right.
Village Bell Ringer. Time to ring your bell. Tap Stitch Drake.
Stitch Drake at the end of the turn.
Ooh.
Untap.
And Rietzl is playing at the speed of a man who believes he's about to win 2-0. Whether he is, Jacob's still got all the mana in the world open.
Where Michael Jacob is just unflappable and unreadable. Paul Rietzl is a million words scrawled all over the page, and you can't tell what they mean.
Which of them are?
Yeah.
Both a pretty effective mode
Yes,
of
yes,
obfuscation.
absolutely. Plays the Disciple. Attacks. Brimstone Volley takes down the Flyer. Self Occultist blocks.
Mills away.
Okay. Jacob goes to 2, I believe. Yeah. Flips back.
Will Alexander Reed is coming to the stage. Alexander Reed.
Looks like a forbidden alchemy.
He's got another Brimstone Volley in hand, but milled away that swamp as he was hoping to see there. But even then, he's still working pretty hard to keep it going with only one mountain.
So there is alchemy. Still no sign of black.
Okay. Is that right?
So the other event we had Haibing Hu versus Andres Prost. Haibing won 2-0.
Oh, okay.
Blake Rasmussen on the text coverage.
Andre, who cracked the Pro Tour top 8 in 2011. Harvest Pyre. Moving 176 cards from my graveyard.
Kill the tapper. Fiend Hunter. And that's the game.
See, every
Shows him the
time
Olivia.
Fiend Hunter's so good.
Shows him the Olivia.
Still had all this.
Yeah.
What? He wanted to cast Olivia against me? Oh! Wait, the swamp in the graveyard. Oh man, that must have been awful. So, Rietzl signs up the slip. And although you don't like to win in that way, you also don't want to deal with something like Olivia. So, Rietzl will be happy enough to take the win on that one. Presumably they were both 5-0.
Yes, they were.
So, Rietzl now needs one win from his remaining 3 matches of the day.